Gamercast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the Gamercast Network Video Game Show, episode number 56 for Sunday, September 23rd, 2007. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, when I say your name, tell me your favorite video game based on a television show. Joining us this week is Bob.
I'm having trouble remembering the name of it, but when I was like 14 or maybe younger than that, I had some type of Looney Tunes animation package where it was sort of a game. You'd like take, some animation of Bugs Bunny walking, and then you could like make him hold a balloon and then like, make him walk over somewhere, and you could make little cartoons and stuff with it. It was fun, and I had it for my Tandy.
Could you make pornography?
Don't be spurts from my childhood memories any more than they are. That's like one of the few I have left. So.
Okay, we'll leave your childhood memories intact. Next up on the list is Keith.
DuckTales for the NES.
Oh, that was a good game. I remember that.
Exactly. You were Uncle Scrooge, and you jumped around on the cane, and you had to go collect diamonds and different things from around the globe. That was a very fun game. And I remember the graphics for the time were the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Or it's the llama's nipples, or, whatever else you want to throw in there.
Next on the list is Ivan.
I don't know if it was my favorite because I'm racking my brain trying to think, but one I do know I played a lot of was a Jeopardy game for the Apple IIe. Horribly, awfully animated, but I did play it quite a lot.
So my answer is Family Feud for the Sega Genesis. Why? Because one night, when some friends and me were playing, the survey question was something along the lines of, name things that happen in a police station. And we had gotten all the obvious answers. Come up with the last one, and we were like, we don't know, let's screw it. Let's just say, beat with nightsticks. And the answer came up, interrogate prisoners. And we just sat there in awe for a few seconds, laughed, and said, wow. Yeah.
So, I'm bored. What do you say we go beat some prisoners with nightsticks? Works for me.
This week on the Gamercast Network, Podtacular, the official Halo Universe podcast, brings you its first Halo 3 based episode. Fumo Jive at JVB also give a rundown of their experience from the secret launch event that they attended on the 24th of September. On Achievement Junkie, this week Natalie and her special guest Nelson discuss gamer literacy and why casual games are going to improve all of gaming. Don't miss Gamertag Radio's Halo 3 coverage with correspondents all over the country on September 24th and 25th, midnight launch coverage, and more surprises. This week, Uncle Gamer talks about the latest news from the Tokyo Game Show, including the announcement of the DualShock 3 controller and the delay of PlayStation Home, plus plenty of discussion about that little first-person shooter that's coming out this week. On Sarcastic Gamer, Lano describes his hands-on time with Halo 3, and the guys announce a chance for the Sarcastic Gamer community to use their artistic skills to win a collector's edition copy of World in Conflict. Discover the website that brings you all of these great episodes and headlines at GamerCastNetwork.com. That's GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
Let's think here now. What do we want to talk about?
What sucks is there's two huge things to talk about. One we don't give a crap about, and the other we're not allowed to talk about. Damn it.
So the first piece of big news that we can't talk about is the fact that all of us here, except for Keith, are in the Hellgate London beta. It's a closed beta, there are NDAs, and we really, really, really don't want to get kicked out. So we can't talk about it at all. But what we can talk about is Halo 3, and this is the big week. By the time this episode goes out, North America should be haloing it up.
But the big news
What's the big news, Bob?
is that in the legendary version, the mini helmet you get cannot be worn by a cat, which is more important than the actual game. The fact that the helmet cannot be worn by a cat.
For the legendary edition of the game, they have a miniature helmet you get with it, and I guess lots of people were hoping that they could put the helmet on their cat and take lots of lolcat pictures. The issue is it's not hollow.
It's a Spartan helmet that, from what I understand, the Legendary set comes with 4 or 5 DVDs, and they kind of fit in these little slots in the stand, and then the helmet kind of slides over it.
Yeah, that's the point. They only made the rectangular opening for the DVDs, right. And you can't easily take it apart to take that stuff out. It opens bare spots up on the side of the helmet.
I got one word for you. Glue.
I got another word. Staple gun.
For extra insurance, he used both words.
So, yes, Halo is coming out. The cats can't wear the helmet. Well, I'm sure you could if you get a Dremel tool, start doing some serious modding.
Oh, yeah, just grind down the cat's head. Yeah, that'll probably make it fit. As long as you get it rectangular, I'm sure it'll slide right in.
Early buzz about the game is apparently it's very good. Today, this is Sunday. It's still coming out in 2 days, but lots of reviews are already going up, and lots of people are giving it 100 out of 100s.
Of course they are. Although I shouldn't talk. I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't played it. We don't know. I liked one review. This is from Kotaku. They were talking about the AI in the single-player version of the game, if you're not doing co-op. The quote was, "The AI of the good guys is as bad as the AI of the bad guys is good." Everyone you're fighting has tremendous abilities. Like they were talking about the bad guys, you have these bubble shields, and I guess in one scene, one bad guy threw down a bubble shield on a guy next to him to protect him, while the main player, his buddies, his bot-controlled guys are supposed to help him out, were like, doing friendly fire kills, tossing grenades at him, that kind of stuff.
It's because everyone's your enemy. You're the master chef. You go alone. Actually, I'll be honest. They came to me for team play advice when making the AI for the good guys. And I was just showing them how I play. And they're like, wow, that's good and helpful. We're going to put that in the game.
Who's that guy right there who keeps bouncing grenades off the door frame? Oh, that's my brother. Yeah. Oh, that's great. We're really going to have to get that so that, you can really feel like you're playing with your brother. All right. Thanks for the notes, man. This is really going to help us out.
Other parts of reviews here, one from GameSpot said that because they include the co-op in the game, that will be an incentive to play the game more than once in the single-player campaign. Now, has anyone here played Gears of War single-player co-op?
Yes.
Single player
Wait,
co-op.
you mean just co-op?
Yeah, co-op.
Co-op.
Yeah.
Yes.
Campaign.
I'm sorry, single player. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense now, does it? Single player co-op. No, the co-op in Gears of War.
Yes, very much so. We played that game a good deal because it was co-op. Again, that's kind of one of my things when I look at a game. I want to shoot things together with my friends. And I'm not going to lie, the fact that Halo does have the co-op thing makes it
Tempting?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, we'll tone it down. At least piques your interest in the game a little bit more.
Yeah, like eventually when there's a price drop and it's cheap, I might eventually pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll all play it eventually.
Oh, I'll play it because I know one of my friends will buy it. And then I'll probably be horribly underwhelmed like I was for the other Halo games. Unless they drastically change the gameplay, which they're not going to do.
None of the reviews I've seen have said they've drastically changed gameplay.
Yeah, so what the hell's the point? Just play a first-person shooter on the computer and it'll be good.
Thanks, Tom.
People are saying there are some interesting things with Halo. People are very much liking the ability to record matches, record moments. You can take screenshots and then you can go download that from the Bungie site.
Full-length movies as well, like of entire matches.
Yeah.
See, I was more happy with YouTube with random animals looking at the camera. Now all you're going to have is random YouTube things of Halo people.
Well, some of that isn't that bad. There's red versus blue.
I was going to say it'll make life easier for red versus blue.
It's been funny. A lot of people are saying, what are you going to do on the 26th and that kind of stuff? I'm going to be like, I'm in the Hellgate beta. Not much else to do at that point.
It's fun because it takes all the raving lunatic 14-year-olds out of the game because they're all playing Halo.
Yeah.
So like every game it just has like normal names and no one's talking in leet speak. It's really kind of nice.
Okay, we can move on. I'm not really interested in talking about Halo anymore.
Okay.
That's what Podtacular's for. If you want Halo, go listen to Podtacular.
Excellent plug for Podtacular, and there is a roundtable discussion on the Podtacular website featuring our own Chris Ivan.
Woo! I bet you brought a lot to that table, buddy.
So do you have it? Have what? The game. No, I've been playing Hellgate. What are we doing?
Next topic.
Keith took a little heat here on our forums for having his EA boycott.
Yeah, I know, and I don't get that. It's not like I said, come people, follow me into the boycotting of EA. I was just saying I'm boycotting EA. I don't know why people want me to give my money to EA so badly.
Well, I was going to give a little validation here to your boycott. There's a site called Consumer Affairs, which I guess receives complaints from people on products. And I guess lots of people have been complaining to Consumer Affairs about some glitches in Madden 08 for the 360, PS3, and the Wii.
This isn't like a serious, like, Better Business Bureau thing. This is like a bitch posts place.
If you go to the site, it seems to have some information there. Besides, these are glitches in the game. They're documented everywhere. Although according to the Better Business Bureau website, EA has received 443 complaints in the last 36 months, garnishing it a unsatisfactory rating. Nevertheless, there are some major glitches here apparently in Madden 08. And apparently one might affect a friend of Keith's here. Did your friend buy Madden 08?
Yes, he did. Paul bought the game. Paul knows, or the other two know Paul.
Paul knows who Paul is.
Yeah. What's up, Paul? You know who you are.
Does Paul have live?
Yes, he does.
Okay, then he's safe.
Now I know Todd's brother has Maddens, and he does not have live.
Then he has some problems, especially if he does the franchise mode, because apparently in the 360 and PlayStation 3 version, there is a bug. In your franchise mode, you drop players from your team. You give them back to the player pool. Well, apparently this bug is when you drop a player back to the pool, he disappears forever. So eventually you get to the point where there's nobody left in the pool.
You let someone go because there's just too much money and they just leave the NFL.
That's it. I quit.
We can't fit you in the salary cap. I'm sorry. Well, screw you. I'm going home then. I retire. You're a rookie.
I quit.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
Now, of course, when this bug was noticed, they put a patch out there. However, for people like Todd's brother, Jeff, who doesn't have live, he's not going to be able to get this patch. So if he does the franchise mode, he's kind of stuck.
Wow, that's craptacular.
What about the little Timmies of the world? The little Timmies who have no broadband, no live, no way to get updates?
Well, I guess their father's working Christmas Eve so they can have their cranberry sauce. Little Timmy, here's your cane.
That's what you get for being poor.
That's what you get for being poor and crippled. Way to put a financial strain on the family, Timmy.
See, without you, they could afford broadband. I hope you're happy.
Say they weren't poor. Say they just were in an area that is, broadband-less. It's not their fault. What about them? If they're going to push the games out so fast, this bug, which is obviously glaring, it's not like a small little thing. It's going to screw your whole franchise mode over.
They're EA, man. They don't care. They don't care about the little guy. The little guy has no money. I'm against them already, so no matter what, I'm just going to mock them. But it doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form. What they should do is recall it and put out a fixed version, but that would probably cost EA too much money to do.
This consumer affairs site had asked EA if they're going to do a disc recall, like I guess they did with NCAA. One of the old NCAA ones, I guess, had a bad bug in it. They recalled it so you could send them in and get a new disc, but they don't foresee themselves doing one for this.
Now, I don't know, but actually I could talk to Jeff, and hell, if he even wants me to, I can do it for him. Usually, if you complain, they give you things to make you stop complaining and go away. So I'm sure if you are someone that doesn't have internet, well, hopefully you have a phone if you don't have internet. Those Amish. No, but usually if you call them and basically if you were to, and again, there's no validation to this statement. If you call them and say, I don't have internet and I want to play franchise, I'm sure that they would do something. And if not, then they should join my EA boycott. But if they don't have the internet, then they obviously aren't getting this podcast to join my EA boycott. Damn Amish. Again, and I just want to throw this out there. If you're against my boycott for EA, don't join me. They just keep screwing over the consumer, and people just keep going back and shoveling more and more and more, which only encourages them to continue to screw the consumer. The only way you're going to basically stop them from doing that is to stop buying their stuff. And then they'll go, oh no, we're not making as much money. Something must be done.
Well, let's just end this here, Keith, with one final thing on your boycott. You know that little Warhammer game you like? Their online game coming out. Do you know who's making their online game? EA Mythic is doing it.
Oh, well, you know what? It's not that big of a deal to me. Then I don't need it. I got Hellgate London.
Next topic.
Let's have a little follow-up here to our little conversation last week. We talked about how pure action games are short, not much replay value and that kind of thing. Well, this last week I rented and played Heavenly Sword for the PlayStation 3, which is the next Uber game for the PlayStation 3.
And boy, are you happy you rented it?
Yes, boy, am I happy I rented it.
I saw the commercial and just kind of laughed because the chick just goes Kratos on people. And I was just like, oh, man, what's up with that?
They just had the commercial on sometime today, and it was the first time I've seen it. It looked cool until she started swinging around sword attached to chains. And I'm like, oh, dude, no.
Okay, let me give you a brief snippet here. So the game does play a lot like God of War in terms of the combat. Her sword is the Heavenly Sword, and it has 3 different modes. It has the range mode, like Kratos's, the the whippy things, big chain kind of things. There are 2 other modes for just normal blade attacks. Like if you play God of War 2, you can get other weapons. They did add some new kinds of mini games, and some of them are actually kind of fun. There's this thing called aftertouch. So what you can do in the game is pick up a weapon and throw it. And if you hold the key down, you go to the perspective of whatever's being thrown, and then using the 6-axis motion, you can guide it. They also have one other type of gameplay in this thing, which is they do the quick time actions too, like in God of War. Now, these are the mini games where you have to hit a button or move the stick in a particular direction when told to do so. A big indicator flashes on the screen. In here, they're more almost like Dragon's Lair kind of things, going through a cutscene and hitting the keys at the right time. In God of War, they did those very well for doing the death sequences or the kills for certain enemies. I didn't mind those in God of War. In this one, these quick time events just felt out of place. The game is awesome. The game has great production value. The graphics are stunning. The real big problem is I rented the game on Tuesday night and put 2 hours in, on Wednesday, put 1 hour in on Thursday, and hey, I'm done. It's about 4.5, 5 hours.
It's $60 for a 5-hour game. So you're paying $12 an hour for your fun. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Now, I will follow this up in that there are rumors of an add-on multiplayer thing coming this November.
But it's also multiplayer. If you bought the game hoping to have a good single-player experience, are you necessarily going to want a multiplayer experience?
Okay, here's the thing. God of War didn't have multiplayer. Would multiplayer have made that more fun?
Maybe in co-op, but that's about it.
It's going to be deathmatch and capture the flag, if the rumors hold true.
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked very well with God of War. Yeah, 5 hours, though, is just,
That's sad, is what that is.
You just start getting into a game after 5 hours.
It's a full-price game. It's $60. See, no, that's not good. And if God of War was 5 hours, I would have an issue with God of War as well. But God of War wasn't 5 hours.
Next topic.
All these games that are supposed to be, great for the PlayStation 3 are just... And you've been playing them, and you're just underwhelmed.
Yeah, so far.
Seems like every game so far, has one major outstanding flaw. And it's not even just little bitchy things. It's like, like Lair, everyone is complaining the controllers are just unusable. And now Heavenly Sword is a $60 game that takes you 5 hours to beat. These are big things.
I would say these are still the first. These aren't true the second generation games of the PlayStation 3 yet.
But they haven't had that game yet. Just, you know what I mean?
Tokyo Game Show just took place. And there they had playable demos of Metal Gear Solid 4. Got rave remarks from everyone there. People who didn't like Metal Gear Solid liked Metal Gear Solid 4.
Is Snake still the guy in there?
Yeah, this is an old grizzled Snake.
Yeah.
I was about to say, how old is he by now?
He's like 60.
He's like that guy from Tekken. He just keeps showing up. I liked the original Metal Gear Solid, but then the Sons of Liberty one? I didn't like that one at all.
I liked the gameplay in Metal Gear Solid. I just hated the...
Cutscenes were too much.
Towards the end of the game, it's literally like 15 minutes, 20 minutes of cutscenes. And it's all preachy about how if we don't...
Change our ways, the world will be destroyed.
Right. Doing things to start making the world a better place. I play video games for entertainment, not for my political activism.
That was my issue with the Final Fantasy games as they started continuing. It was just like, I want to play the game, enough with the damn cutscenes. If I want to rent a movie, I'll go rent a movie and watch a movie. They say it's 40 hours of gameplay, 20 of it better not be cutscenes, which is what Final Fantasy games became.
Then Final Fantasy isn't for you, because they make those games knowing full well that people are playing it half for the gameplay, half for the story. Most of the story.
That's not how it used to be.
No, I know, and that's the problem. Final Fantasy 1, the first one, had, no cutscenes in it.
Yeah. 7 was the one that they really changed everything.
And 7 I even liked, but 7 had a lot of cutscenes, but it was like, driving to Chris's house when he lived in Brunswick, where it was like, just hit that point of annoying, and then you got there. And it was like, okay, that's all right.
Next topic.
Well, okay, we can follow this up here real quick with one rumor here. So this last week in Japan, they released Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core for the PlayStation Portable. Now, story-wise, Crisis Core is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. And this game was so popular, it actually made the PlayStation Portable outsell the Nintendo DS for 1 week in Japan. People who were playing Crisis Core, and I guess if you beat it a couple times, you see this special ending which says, the story is continued in Final Fantasy VII. There were a lot of rumors floating around, that people are taking that as a indication that Square Enix is probably going to revisit, re-release, remake do something again with Final Fantasy VII.
No, but they've been saying that since Final Fantasy VII. That there's going to be a Final Fantasy VII 2, which is so stupid. Final Fantasy VII 2.
They did that. What was it, 10?
There was a sequel to Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X-2.
Well, that's okay, though, because Final Fantasy X is just FFX. So that's a lot shorter than FFVII. See? So that'd be
Dash
FFVII dash II.
Yes. The thing here is it wouldn't be Final Fantasy VII Part 2. It would be Final Fantasy VII just redone totally for the PlayStation 3 or whatever they bring it out for.
I would be very against that because you've already played Final Fantasy VII. Why would you want to play it again?
I haven't played Final Fantasy VII.
If you've been playing the Final Fantasy games, chances are you've played the Final Fantasy VII. And assuming that they're going for the Final Fantasy player market, most of those people probably have played Final Fantasy VII.
The thing is, I want to play Final Fantasy VII right now. I've wanted to for a while, but it's not cheap. And to get it off of eBay, it's a pretty penny. It's like a lot more than you're probably willing to spend on a PlayStation 1 game right now. For the general person out there who wants to go revisit it right now, who heard all the cool things about it when it came out, I don't know, what, 10 years ago?
It was I was in college. I was a sophomore or junior in college. So
Well, see, there you go. I mean, you got a whole new generation of kids who have never played this game.
Well, I guess, but that's just weak. That's just such a lazy way to go.
If you say that's lazy, what about them releasing Final Fantasy 3 and 4 for the Nintendo DS?
That is still lazy? No, that's still lazy. The only thing I can say about that is probably a lot of people don't have working Nintendos or Super Nintendos or whatever that is. So while lazy, it's for a system that you already have.
I hope that if they do make a 7, they don't take the stupid easy way out. So 7 is probably the most talked about controversial Final Fantasy because of the whole death of Aeris. And Aeris is a female character, one of the female leads in the game. And towards the end of the game, it's not really a spoiler because everyone in the world talks about it. She gets killed by the main bad guy.
Damn it, I have never played the game. I
walked away. Heard that before,
dude. I knew that.
I was about to say you can't tell me that ruined anything for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry if that ruined it for you, but I mean that is like saying the Titanic sinks at the end of the movie.
It does. I haven't seen Titanic. How the hell should I know? Now it's all ruined.
Anyway, so there's always been talk about her being resurrected or brought back or something, or there's a secret unlock that you can do that brings her back, which none of which is true. And I just hope they don't do something cheesy like actually do that.
Okay, let's move on. Let's try and get something a little more interesting here, a little more flavor.
More interesting than Tifa's jiggly breasts?
Tifa. Yeah, she was the little slut because she was the one trying to steal Cloud away from Aeris.
Whore.
Yeah, she was a whore.
But she definitely... Her pixels were much more attractively aligned than Aeris's pixels.
Yeah.
She had much larger pixelated breasts.
Next topic.
We'll talk some Japanese news. They have a game called Mushi King, King of the Beatles.
Oh, yes.
You've heard of this game?
Nice.
Okay, so this is a arcade / collectible card game by Sega. So apparently in this game, it's set in a forest with trees, insects, and fairies. One of the fairies in the game, Popo, befriends a beetle, which is called a Mushi King. And one day, the evil beetles, led by an evil wizard, come to take over the forest. So you and Popo must fight the evil beetles. Sounds simple, right?
Well, it depends. Are they those Spanish beetles that look like ladybugs but aren't and bite?
Hang on. The beetle type is very important here. So in the game, apparently you get cards of different beetle types. And I believe these are actually based on real beetles. Not the singing ones, but the, beetles, like insects. So what you do is you get these little cards and you go to these arcade machines. Combat in the game is like a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing. And the cards have different attributes and, you somehow scan the cards in the arcade game and you use those while you're playing and you fight the different beetles. So why is this important? Well, the kids in Japan who play this game are so into the bugs now, they don't want just the cards. They actually want the real beetles. Again, not the singing ones.
Oh, sweet Jesus. So it's like live Pokemon. Are they putting them in balls and throwing them at each other?
Actually, one of the big pastimes for kids in Japan is having different insects fight each other. And that was kind of like the basis for this whole arcade game, collectible card game in the first place. So the kids liked this game so much, they actually want to get the real beetles depicted in the cards and have them fight one another.
Wow.
That's neat.
Sounds like something Michael Vick could get in on. What, too soon?
Here's the thing, though. It's so popular and so lucrative, there are now beetle bounty hunters that are scouring the rare beetles in, like, India. These bounty hunters are so hardcore about finding them, they're actually wiping out species of beetles.
Wow. Gotta catch them all. Where'd all the Pikachu go? They're dead because they caught them all. Boy, that would be funny if they have, like, Pokemon Extinction.
Video game related Extinction. Now that would be cool.
Sweet.
We've moved beyond the death. It's video game related Extinction this week.
Next topic.
Cell phone games are on the rise. Do we care about that?
Cell phone games are on the rise? I'm sure Tom would, but Tom's gone, so no, we don't.
Well, let me at least give you here what's coming out. That Orcs and Elves game, Ivan, has a sequel coming out. And at the Tokyo Game Show, they have announced Resident Evil 4, Devil May Cry, Kingdom Hearts, Coded, which is set between 1 and 2, and a new Mega Man Legends game.
No. Just no. Stop it. Stop doing stupid things. Those games just don't work on a cell phone.
I know you didn't like the Orcs and Elves game at all, but, you know.
No, I don't. And I've played a couple other of those kind of action arcadey type games, and a damn keypad with 9 buttons just does not make a good joystick. It's awful. I mean, I'm all for puzzle game to pass the time while you're doing God knows what with your cell phone, but the graphics are awful. The controls are awful. Everything is awful. It's just bad. It just should stop. It should just be stopped. Why won't you stop?
We'll stop.
Okay.
They only hit you because they love you, Ivan.
Not me. I hit you because I'd like to hit you.
You know violence is the right answer. You got the answer wrong on purpose.
Next topic.
Of course, we know that the ESRB rated Manhunt 2 as AO. This is for the Wii, PlayStation 2, and PSP.
I just picture it like when they show up to get their rating, they just press a little button, it goes, AO, AO. And the game just shoots out at them and the door shut. It's funny in my head. What do you want me to say? I just thought of it and it was funny.
Other than the song part, I think the funniest part of that is that they like walk up to like a vending machine kind of thing and push a button and say, come on, what's the rating? Oh, like that's how they get their news.
Their ratings?
From the ESRB is they have to push a button and it's like a roulette wheel.
Spin again.
Whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Aww.
Rockstar submitted a new version of Manhunt 2, and the new version was rated M. At the time, ESRB didn't say what Rockstar had changed. Before they got the AO rating, Rockstar had sent out review copies to the various magazines, websites, and all that kind of stuff. So there were people out there that knew what the AO content was. And now they've gotten the new version of the game, the M-rated version, and they have said what the changes were. Most of the violence is still in. It's still a very sadistic and violent game.
But everyone's a zombie now and the blood is green.
No, it wasn't that. They did take out certain death sequences, like you do still decapitate people and use their head as a decoy. They did take out removing the man's jewels and then ripping off his spinal cord. But you still get, sawing in people's heads, decapitating a guy with a sewer cap.
That would be hard.
Yeah, that would be not very sharp. But the main difference is now in the M version, when you do the death sequence, the screen gets all blurry and very dark, so you can't really see what's happening.
If they do it correctly, that could still be cool. If they do it right, it can still be very dark and gritty and still turn out pretty cool.
That makes you wonder if they had this M-rated version all along and they only did the AO version for publicity.
It comes back to that, yes. I mean, do we still feel that was what they did?
I don't know that maybe they had the M-rated version ready to go and were just sitting on it, but I still fully believe that, maybe even they didn't know. Maybe they submitted it to the ESRB, it came back as AO, and they went, oh, crap. And then they said, oh, not that big a deal. We'll get some publicity out of this. We'll fix it up and we'll be fine. I still think it was done on purpose.
Even if it was, it's still a smart PR move.
And it is, it's coming out on Halloween, so it's not really, I don't know what games are coming out around the same time period. All I know is Hellgate London, and there's nothing else, so.
Nothing else matters.
No.
Nothing else matters.
Next topic.
So this is from episode number 54. We had a poll for our listeners. Do you have a problem with paying for pre-orders when you don't receive anything at the time of putting the money down? So, you go to GameStop, you want to pre-order Madden 09, Because you're hoping.
Because Uncle Peter's going to make it good. He's going to make it good.
He probably won't make it good, but hey.
Hopefully he'll try. Anyways, you're putting $10 down and you're not getting anything. So, from our forums, 30% of our listeners have a problem with paying for pre-orders when they don't receive anything. 70% do not have a problem with putting money down for a pre-order when they don't receive anything. So they're okay with putting down $10 at the time they pre-order when they don't get anything for it. And just skimming some of our people here, Master Framer from our forums. Peace of mind is what I get from pre-ordering. I made the mistake of not pre-ordering Skate. Now all the shops are sold out and I don't have a copy. I must wait. I should have pre-ordered. And similarly, Mix, our listener from the Philippines, he pre-orders really good games, ones that he feels will get sold out there. Because apparently when they get sold out in the Philippines, they don't get stock for like 2 or 3 months.
Eek.
Yeah. Another listener from Fairs to the Lee, who is in Sweden. He doesn't usually pre-order, but if it's a big name game, he will, because they'll probably be sold out of it. And like for BioShock, it was sold out for at least a week and a half. So there are our listeners' thoughts on pre-ordering.
Next topic.
Mailbag.
Question here from Mark. Is the new 360 Messenger accessory worth getting, or should I just stick with my USB keyboard? Now, I will say that we had one of our members on our forum, 30-Foot Screw, reviewed it for us on the videogameshow.org website, so you can go there and read his review of the chat pad. Sums up basically is he liked it a lot, 9 out of 10. He said it was pretty lightweight, doesn't ruin the balance of the controller. It feels nice. It doesn't get much in the way of his gaming.
That's what I heard as well, that it's actually very convenient to set and the other thing. But why do you ever really need that? I mean, can't you just put in the headset and just record a message and just be like, I'll be there in 5 minutes? You know what I mean?
I guess the only thing would be for games that required typing. Like you would have played Madden, I'm sure you could create your own characters or create your own teams or name things. It might be more useful than using the on-screen keyboard.
Oh, I know there's a couple people that did that. Like Chris does that. I know Todd does that. With the college games, they go in and rename all the teams with the actual players' names. For why, I don't know, because in 4 seasons, all those players are gone anyway.
They simulate to that level in NCAA games?
When your senior's year is over, they can be exported into Maddens. And then they're gone from the game, and you have a new incoming freshman class.
Wow. You can't keep him back if you like the guy a lot. You can't say, we're going to give you Fs. You got to stay in school.
Damn, this guy's good. Fail him.
And that was the train wreck that is known as Video Game Show episode number 56 for Sunday, September 23rd, 2007. Any ham sandwiches or shattered dream pies for the world?
Cleveland Browns.
Shattered
Dream pie.
All around for the Cleveland Browns, and the fact that they can't beat the number 0 team in the NFL.
Oh, somebody's got to be last.
It's going to be us.
I'm sick of it being us.
One final ham sandwich to Zulfikar on our forums. He organizes a lot of Xbox 360 game nights. If anyone in the listening audience would like to go participate in one of those, go check out the GamerCast Network forums at gamercastnetwork.com/forums. And we've also put a whole new event system in place on the forum so people can organize their game nights better for the 360, for the PlayStation 3, and the PC. Again, go check out the forums at gamercastnetwork.com/forums for all of the details. And as always, send your comments, questions, queries, or concerns to the mailbag at mailbag@videogameshow.org. Call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long distance call and all normal fees apply. Or Skype us at Video Game Show. And that's a wrap. Good night. Go have fun with Halo. We will be in our randomly generated versions of London. You know, do you have a problem with paying for pre-orders when you don't receive anything at the time of putting the money down? So, from our forums, our listeners, 30% of them have no problem with it. No, wait. No. Do you have a problem with paying for pre-orders? Yes. No, here he is. 30% of our listeners.
Right.
Yes,
No.
yes, no.
I have no idea what's going on right now.